I want you to prepare yourself because the level of hypocrisy that you're about to see will trigger you, man. It triggered me. I ain't gonna lie. I'm over here fuming at this. These Democrats are caught in 4K on camera going against their own agenda right now. But let's check this out. The irony.
Well, the deadline to fund the government is 1 week from today. It's ticking down. And remember, just weeks before Trump took office, this was in December, Democrats accused Republicans of wanting a shutdown.
House Republicans have been ordered to shut down the government and hurt everyday Americans all across this country.
Republican needs to stop playing politics with a government shutdown.
Thanks to Republicans, we're less than 48 hours away from a Christmas shutdown.
And it'll be their fault that Americans don't get disaster relief, that Americans don't get their Social Security checks.
I want us to take a moment to at least appreciate the fact that we've been able to stop another Republican shutdown of the government.
Democrats don't get irony, right? All the tape is about what they're doing right now. It's a lack of principle, and it's very dangerous. A shutdown doesn't behoove anyone, and the fact that they're trying to orchestrate it illustrates what we said earlier in the first block, that they are flailing. They don't have a vision, a platform, a party. It's in disarray, and they don't have anything else to do. So this is a dangerous thing. We are putting a clean CR on the floor early next week, probably on Tuesday. It will fund the government at current levels because that will allow us, as we said earlier, to make sure all the DOGE cuts and all the new innovations are calculated so we can actually use it in the federal budgeting. That's what they're afraid of, Kayleigh. They don't want us to cut down the size and scope of the federal government because they love that, and we don't, and that's the real peril for them. So they don't have a play. They don't know what to do, and it's really interesting to see them eat their own words like that.
Yes, they don't know what to do other than, like I say, become hypocrites. Because before they were advocating against government shutdown, saying how it was threatening the livelihoods of not only the American people, but what they wouldn't say is them and their corruption, them being able to squeeze and fizzle out all of our taxpaying dollars somehow to shuffle into their bank accounts. But y'all remember the CR bill, of course, that was proposed, I want to say a few months ago, not too long ago. And of course, that was the first time I was introduced to it, to understand how government spending is supposed to go down. And that's how we started finding out a lot about the corruption, even right before USAID. At least for me, that's the timeline I understand it to be. But you have Speaker Mike Johnson right here proposing a 6-month continuing resolution to extend government funding through September of this year. But of course, the Democrats don't want that. They said that the Republicans, right? You know, I just call myself a Republican. Anyhow, we don't want we want to shut down the government, but in fact, it's them. Look, they caught in 4K, bro. I mean, legit caught in 4K. Let's go ahead and look at a compilation. By the way, Donald Trump posted this earlier, I believe.
We believe in governance. We want to keep government open. A shutdown is very serious.
There are real consequences when the government shuts down. It harms our national security, it harms our economy, and it harms service members, veterans, retirees, and vulnerable communities.
We all know a shutdown is unnecessary and completely avoidable.
The tragedy here is all the civilian employees. It is the American people who are going to suffer.
Border Patrol agents will not be paid. TSA agents will not be paid. Small businesses will be hurt.
Not only is it irresponsible and purposely misleading, it is dangerous precedent to be threatening a shutdown.
I'm worried about our air controllers, those in the military. We have almost 40,000 in the military, as well as personnel who work in the military. And they won't have checks. I mean, this is real.
There are real people's lives at stake.
It is not normal to hold 800,000 workers' paychecks hostage.
Hey, AOC, we're going to deal with you in a minute because we just found out that you hired some illegals, or unillegal.
It is not normal to shut down the government when we don't get what we want.
Our troops deserve better. Our children deserve better. And the American people deserve better.
These chaos agents, they don't have a plan B.
They just want to see everything burn.
Shutdown is an extremist policy designed to appeal to an extremist base and hold the whole country hostage.
So if this shutdown, you know who's going to feel the pain? You know who it hurts? You.
Oh my gosh. I love the internet for the same reason that I despise it sometimes. But you clearly see right here the hypocrisy from the Democrats. Oh, they're going to shut down the government. Basically implying that it's a detriment to the American society. Fear-mongering. The gaslighting. The Republicans are going to do this. They're going to do Trump. It just shows the ignorance that these Democrats carry. And I love what the school posted up under this. It's clear that the Democrats are willing to go through any lengths to obstruct President Trump's agenda, even if it means harming hardworking Americans. Their hypocrisy on government shutdowns is staggering, but it's no surprise given the consistent efforts to undermine Trump's vision for America. Kudos to Speaker Mike Johnson and President Trump for standing firm against these partisan tactics. I really don't get it. Top Democrats, including House Majority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, reject the CR, calling it a blank check for Trump and Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. They argue it delays critical budget fights until after midterms or Trump's policy rollout, weakening their leverage in a GOP-controlled Congress. Jeffries labeled it not serious and laughable, accusing the extreme MAGA Republicans of risking a takedown, as y'all seen earlier. But now, this is insane, man. Let's read a few more comments before we move further. I figure out why my sinuses have been going crazy lately. Like, really, my nose has been stuffed for the last couple of weeks. I don't know what's going on. Democrats flat out hate America. It's that easy. You have the majority and your bill is bad. This isn't complicated. More importantly, why have Republicans been so wishy-washy about fighting the Dems? What does that mean? I think we've been handling them pretty well. Dems cried about shutdowns. Now they're for them. Why? They'll do anything to block Trump's agenda. Hypocrisy and overdrive. TDS is real. I'm telling y'all, you mentioned Donald Trump's name to some people, it's almost demon-like. Trump, oh my God, you like Trump? Oh my God, I can't. Who are you? You a white supremacist. You support this. Mike Johnson again right here, doubling down on his stance.
They either have an issue with reading comprehension or they are attempting to run one of the most shameful misinformation campaigns that we've ever seen in our lives.
Ouch.
We filed that the CR, the continuing resolution, on Saturday, and as was noted, they had already come out panning the bill that literally had not yet been seen. They said, quote, this is the House Democrat leadership team's statement on Friday. Remember, the bill was filed on Saturday afternoon. On Friday, they said, quote, Republicans have decided to introduce a partisan continuing resolution that threatens to cut funding for health care, nutritional assistance, and veterans benefits through the end of the year. Every single word of that is a lie. Every single, they just made it up. They didn't read the bill. It's nonsense. People are not buying this. And you see the contrast between one party, which is leading, moving the ball forward for the American people, and the other that is just screaming.
Yes.
Then the Democrats start parroting this talking point in interviews all weekend on CNN. They said, quote, it's so harmful to the American people. You know, cutting Medicaid, cutting Medicare, threatening Social Security, cutting veteran benefits.
That's not happening.
It's all a lie. You can all read the bills, 99 pages. This clean CR contains no poison pill riders, no policy riders there at all. No cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security, zero. No cuts to veterans benefits, zero. In fact, as was noted, we plus up the accounts for veterans. And respectfully, I'm just going to say this to every reporter in the room, that if you're allowing Democrats to make these intentionally false, scurrilous claims without pushback, then you're aiding and abetting the spreading this misinformation. I would just ask you to call them on it. The American people deserve that. They deserve that clarity from our press corps. Make them point it out to you. They can't, of course.
Of course they can't. That really doesn't make sense to me. Donald Trump even recently came out, did an interview, and explicitly stated that he's not cutting Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and things of that nature. But even after that, you had the likes of Jasmine Crockett, Hakeem Jeffries, and all these other Democrats, shills, and all of these legacy media shills who still push that rhetoric. It's insane. And then you just can't please people. They continue to move the marker because you got some people out there, I'm sure, that's like, oh, well, you know, Trump only did or said that for X, Y, Z, or he's only, you know what I mean? Like, you can never satisfy these people at all. Yes, Mr. Speaker, we are aware there are no cuts. That's kind of the problem, Patrick Webb said. You're a liar. Elon Musk admitted yesterday that he wants to cut entitlement. Rumor has it $5,000 check to taxpayers are in it. Can anyone confirm? No, nobody's talking about the stimulus. That's fake. This is what needs to happen every week. Call out the misinformation, call out the criminal Democrats. Of course, we can see there's some mixed postures here in the comment section, but y'all know what side I'm on. But, you know, think for yourself. Elon Musk right here talking about the massive fraud. 20 million dead people marked as alive in the Social Security database.
Why are the 20 million people who are definitely dead marked as alive in the Social Security database? Why were hundreds of millions of dollars of Small Business Administration loans were given out to people aged 11 and under, according to the Social Security? Like, these must be some very enterprising 8-year-olds, you know.
And some pretty strong 150-year-olds.
Yes. Exactly. As the president said, you know, we have an enormous number of people marked as alive who are 160. He didn't know the country was that healthy. Why are there 20 million?
And y'all want to fight against them. Stop letting these people, these liberals, a lot of y'all, stop believing it. Seriously, just go start doing your own research. Now, I haven't seen any paperwork to confirm this. However, he's the guy that's, you know, head of Doge, so he's the source. That's pretty much all I can give you. I mean, if he's the guy looking at the information and he's the head of this department, he hasn't given me a reason to believe that he's lying. However, we still want proof. We don't just trust anybody wholeheartedly. But you can't tell me that there's no truth to what he's saying at all. I believe it. If you just look at the meltdowns on the left, these people are really like losing their minds. Leave the people stealing our money alone. No. Jennifer asks, it would be great to save that money, but it would be greater when people face consequences for this. Legal consequences. Yes, accountability has to be had. Now, another Democrat actually walked away because of the Democratic Party and what they're doing right now. I want y'all to listen to the reasons on why she left. Pretty dope.
The reason I am so critical of the Democratic Party right now is because I literally just left it, just like a lot of other people. I was a bleeding heart liberal like all of you. I mean, blue hair and everything. I mean, believe me, I have plenty of pictures proving that I was all in. If you would have asked me a year ago, I would have said there is no way in hell I will ever vote for Donald Trump. But let me tell you what changed my mind. The big moment for me was when the left started trying to push this like Nazi, Hitler, fascism narrative that they're trying to push right now. Like, what y'all actually did is made a lot of us really go research Trump even harder. And we started to realize that a lot of things that you guys had shown us about Trump and things that he had said were taken way out of context. A lot of us started noticing a pattern where you guys were showing us like little 10-second clips of a 10-minute conversation that did not reflect the entirety of that conversation at all. So that was number one. And then around Thanksgiving, all of a sudden you guys are telling us that it would be better for us to sit at home and spend the holidays with no one than it would be to go home to your family who voted for Trump. When I heard that, I was like, okay, now y'all are wildin', because you cannot tell me that it is better for your mental health to sit at home alone than it is to go and spend time with your friends and family. Y'all had actual therapists getting on TV and telling you guys this. And the sad thing is that it would have been better for them to encourage you to do something like find other people that believe the same as you to spend the holidays with, but they didn't. They told you to stay in your home and spend the holidays with no one. When that happened, I was like, okay, I gotta give this party a second look because something is not right here. But honestly, if you want to know the truth, what really did it for me is realizing how freaking depressed I was when I was functioning as a liberal. Liberalism will literally make you hate yourself. It will make you hate your family. It will make you hate your friends. It will make you hate everything about the world. And I'm not saying that you should just be ignorant to everything that is going on in the world, but the way that the left chooses to internalize everything that is going on in the world is detrimental to their mental health. And this is why people try to tell you that empathy is dangerous. But even that you want to take out of context. Empathy itself is a great quality to have. Empathy without discernment is detrimental. You have got to be able to discern when you are carrying too much and you need to take a step back, and none of you are doing that. Believe me, it is possible to care about everything that is going on in the world and not let it consume every single thought that you have and every single conversation that you have. A lot of us are leaving the party in droves because you guys have made it impossible to have any sort of individual thought whatsoever. Like, for instance, if I say that I like RFK Jr. because I want bad chemicals out of my food and because I want to know what's in my vaccines,
you everything under the sun.
You will assume that I am someone who is anti-vax and anti-science, when in fact, all three of my kids and myself have been vaccinated. I just want to tell you guys something. Every Republican most likely voted for Trump. Every person that voted for Trump is not a Republican. The fact that you guys are so against Trump's administration right now, when most of his administration is former Democrats who have now left the party, y'all look wild. I mean, the Democratic Party has brainwashed people so hard that they are actually advocating against world peace right now. People on the left would rather us keep giving money to Ukraine to fund a war than to even fathom getting Ukraine and Russia at the table to try to agree to peace. A party that I joined because they were so anti-war and I was so against war now loves war all of a sudden. They have convinced you to love war so much that you are actually fighting for transgender people to be in the military when lots of groups of people are excluded for the military for very valid reasons. For instance, people like me who suffer from anxiety and depression, and even though I'm not currently medicated, I used to take medication for this, and that would disqualify me from serving in the military. And frankly, I don't have a problem with that. I know damn well that somebody like me has no damn business being on the front lines. Me having the conditions that I have make me a liability to the safety of this country. Like, don't get me wrong, I am all for trans rights, okay? I believe that you have the right to be whoever you want to be in whatever way makes you comfortable. But you really want the right to fight in the military? Like, that's the right, that's the hill that you want to die on? Like, bro, people don't get accepted to the military because they have fucking bone spurs on their feet. And you are complaining about the fact that a transgender person can't make it into the military. Like, at this point, the left has convinced you to be so anti-Trump that they will get you to argue for things that you used to be against. And all of this summed up is exactly why you are losing people every single day. As bad as you think that you are making Trump look, all you are doing is making yourself look 10 times worse. And this last election very clearly showed that, because Trump increased his numbers across every single demographic, across women, across young voters, across Black Americans, across Hispanic Americans. Like, everyone came out to vote for Trump. And it is because we just cannot stand y'all anymore. So if you guys want to continue living in that kind of miserable existence, like, that is on you. We are not participating in that anymore. And by saying that, I'm not saying that we're not going to be participating in changing the state of the world, but we don't have to be miserable while we're doing it. So at this point, just forget everything that you have ever heard about Republicans, because I promise you, if you get a group of Trump voters in the room, you will not be able to put them all in one box. I promise you that. The Democratic Party is no longer the party of tolerance and inclusion and diversity. It's the new right. I heard someone else call us that, and honestly, I think we should start calling ourselves that, because we're not Republicans. I don't consider myself a Republican. I don't consider myself a Democrat anymore, but I damn well am not going to consider myself a Republican.
That's
I think
crazy.
we should coin ourselves as
Y'all seeing me go like, I just call myself a Republican.
the new right, because that is so fitting. If that's you, then I am so glad you're here, and welcome to the new right. We would love to have you.
You know, the right, it is what it is. But, oh my gosh. That's the type of speech that you clap for right there. I mean, she laid it all out, and she had a very similar experience that I had, and I'm sure many of you had, when it comes to the realization that you were suffering from TDS. When she mentioned that the American people were over the whole playing a 10-second clip and completely taking it out of context from a 10-minute, sit-down conversation. Like, we see past that. Then, in addition to that, early on, she spoke about how the Democrats, like Joy Reid, I remember very specifically, advocated for them to segregate themselves from any of their family members who were Trump supporters during the holidays. To actually think that that's more beneficial for your mind and for your well-being. Come on, don't let your common sense, don't let it slip, all right? I think, again, America, what we need to do is teach our children. We need to give them a new relationship with failure, with learning, with being corrected. I think our ego is a lot of ego is built in on the left. Even when they know when they're wrong, their ego is so high that they can't admit it. They feel like, admitting that they wrong about something is just going to be the end of the world, when in fact it can just progress you. The one thing that I teach my sons and my daughter, I don't know why I said sons first. The one thing that I teach my kids is, man, be okay with being corrected. I don't mind being in a heated exchange, and I wholeheartedly, based on the information that I had at that time, wholeheartedly argue what I know but even when I'm passionate about it, if somebody can present a piece of information that's objective and it's a perspective that you can't refute, hey, even though I was passionate, I don't like being wrong, but hey, you know what? I stand corrected. I'm not a know-it-all, I'm a learn-it-all. And I think that's what the problem is with the Democratic Party. They just know it all. We know it all. We know what Donald Trump is doing. We know what when they really don't know it all. We know what the American people want. When you really don't know it all. They don't. What is this? Is this a part of this? Even CNN can't help but mock the Democrats on their cringe videos. The Democrat Party has officially imploded.
So your challenge is who's going to win the message war if this government does shut down. I want to show our viewers something that I thought was really interesting, which is that you have taken to TikTok.
Yes.
And you were trying to communicate such things on TikTok. I want to play a little bit of one of your posts. You were dancing in your chair along that.
Right.
I mean, how important is it for someone like you? I'm sure TikTok, you're not exactly native to that. I'm certainly not.
Yeah.
Just in order to get in the game for Democrats, particularly when you're approaching such a tough time, which is the potential shutdown.
You have to communicate where people are and what they're listening to and what they're reading, etc. You change, your environment changes. You know that. There's old school, and now you have to move. You can either move with the times or you can be left behind. My choice is to move with the times.
Well, I enjoyed that. Yeah. Thank you. Please come back. It's going to be a very busy week, and hopefully we will not get to.
I didn't enjoy that. Not even a little bit. So this is them or her, a Democrat, admitting this is how they pander to you, basically. You know what? We gotta communicate how they communicate. No. Instead of trying to communicate on the level that they are, how about you just work on your policies? Communicate your policies to them. Communicate your actions and, actually communicate that through action. There's a thought. Why do they look like they're about to lay a trap for Batman? Oh my gosh. That was funny. That was funny. And on that note, man, y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. I want to say thank you to everybody, man, for all your likes, comments, shares, donations, and well wishes. I truly appreciate y'all. Peace. Well, go to the next video.